Rev up your engines!
Well, I love this. The Union Auto Workers President Shawn Fain is not endorsing President Biden. And you know why? And here's why. He said, we expect actions, not words. Well, I guess he's going to be expecting for a long time, because the only thing that comes out of politicians these days are words and not actions. And especially somebody like Joe Biden, who's been the minion of corporate greed throughout his entire political history. The banks of Delaware pushed him in, so they got liberal banking laws so they could make a fortune, charge outrageous interest rates on credit cards. That's why a lot of credit cards were in Delaware, based in Delaware, because they could charge more interest, right? So you're only going to get words from all Joe people. And now the union guy's saying, hey, I'm not endorsing the guy. He talks, but he doesn't do anything about it. And of course, now half the time he doesn't even know what he's talking about. So it's even worse. At least before, he'd kind of get the lines right. Now the lines aren't even right that people are feeding him. Well, as you know, the Union of Auto Workers have started a strike against the Big Three, saying that, hey, words aren't enough. We're going on strike now. And as I always say, follow the money. If they make it into a massive strike, presently it's 3 factories, 1 at Ford, 1 at GM, 1 at Stellantis, Chrysler, right? A lot of companies be losing money, can't be building cars. It'll be a gigantic mess. And of course, the workers themselves are pushing against Biden and his let's buy electric car stuff, because electric cars are going to require less workers, so there'll be less union workers with jobs. So, it's a gigantic, complex mess when you got some senile guy running the show, theoretically. I agree with the Shawn Fain guy that you need action, not words. But he may be too old to do any type of action that's going to change anything. He never did in his past historical political positions that we're in, and I can't see him in his old dotage age doing anything that's going to change anything other than do what the corporations tell him to do. And the corporations run the auto business. They don't run the unions. Benny Benton says, underbody rust removal. How do you do it? Rust never sleeps, so you got to remove the rust. You want to pray it's superficial rust, right? So if you know somebody with a sandblaster, pay him to blast it off. If not, get out there with, wire brushes and a drill and whiz it all off. Then you want to coat it all. You can buy all kinds of coating. They make special underbody coatings that you can spray on, right? And that will do it right. You want to make sure that it's sealed. But let's say it's really rusty, you hit it with a hammer and crunch, and it just makes a hole. It's too late. It's shot, and there's nothing you can do. You could brush it down. There won't be anything left by the time you're done. Sometimes rust is so far, it's time to say goodbye. When a frame is all crunched and the swing arms are hanging from, pieces of metal that are half there and aren't there, it's time to get rid of the vehicle. Sean Maldonado says, what is the best full-size truck to get for a novice truck person? I'd say a Toyota Tundra, because they break the least. You don't have to worry about it breaking. You know anything about trucks, you're novice. They can run forever. They're great trucks. I'd stick to the older ones that had V8s. I wouldn't buy a modern one. They went to V6 last year, and I don't like them. I like the ones with V8s. If you couldn't find it, I'd say an F-150 Ford pickup truck with a V8 engine, normally aspirated, no turbos, none of that crap. Just a big old V8 engine that can last a long time. Shara Shedek says, Scotty, there's humming noise coming from my car when I drive 102 to 118 kilometers an hour. 2019 Jetta with a 1.4 engine. Often it will be wheel bearings humming. Going down the road, you hear, faster you go, the faster the hum. It's usually a wheel bearing, right? And there's one on each wheel. You got to figure out which one it is. So get 3 of your close friends, roll the windows down. They can all stick their heads out. And they can say, I can hear it from this wheel. And you would need that wheel bearing. That is the most common reason that vehicles hum. And Volkswagens have pretty crappy wheel bearings that wear out all the time. And if you live in an area that has a lot of potholes in the roads, of course, that destroys the wheel bearings over time, because you keep hitting bumps and the wheel bearings get bang, 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 and then they wear out. Then they start to hum. David Robinson says, Scotty, what did you do with everything in your pristine garage in Texas? That thing was immaculate. Okay, I smell some sarcasm here. If you've ever seen pictures of my garage in Texas, it was a gigantic hoarder's rat's nest of 44 years of me shoving things in the back and the side. I couldn't get cars in it anymore. It was full of tools. I could roll my motorcycles in and out. That was about it, And I had a boat trailer in there I could get in and out too. But I had to lean the boat trailer against the side of the wall. There wasn't enough room, right? And eventually that even became hidden under the detritus of years and years of stuff. I took some of the tools here for my grandson, for people, and took it to Tennessee with me. You could see the garage door was open and people were taking whatever they want. And I told them, feel free to take whatever you want. I'm gone. So I'm assuming a bunch of people took some of my tools that were in there, right? And I hope you're having a good time. What I really wonder is, on the outside of the garage against the fence was my little sailboat that was leaning there. If anybody out there took my sailboat and is sailing around, please tell me about it. Send pictures. Send them to scottykilmer@gmail.com. I'd love to see if somebody's sailing that boat around. It was a trailer, boat, sail, and even a little electric trolling motor for it. So if somebody's got that in sailing, please take pictures of it and send them to me. I'd love to see what's going on. Alonzo Johnson says, what's the best place to get a paint job? Here's the thing. To paint a car correctly is a super expensive job. The only way to correctly paint a car is to remove the old paint down to the bare metal, then starting over with primer and coats and blah, and then finally a clear coat. It is a very expensive process to do correctly, and it will cost anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 in most places, right? I want to spend that to paint my car. So you can go to a place like Earl Scheib or Facto Bait, and they'll say, well, paint any car for $399, $399. When I was a kid, it was $59. Inflation, of course, so now it's more. But all they're going to do is paint over your old paint. And that's why you see a bunch of cars that somebody got repainted, and it looks okay if you don't look too close at the drips and runs, right? But within a year or two or three, it starts fading away, and the paint's peeling off of the other paint, because paint doesn't stick to old paint all that well. So, this case, you get what you pay for. Now, the reason that the good guys charge so much money is because they have to. The labor's expensive. It takes many hours to prepare a car and paint it. And they're doing it legally. They have a giant paint booth inside their garage so that filters the chemicals out so it doesn't make the neighborhood smell. And those things cost a lot of money. So they got to recoup their investment for all the machinery that they bought. A good paint job is not cheap. Gilbert also, Scotty, I hear a tapping, knocking sound from the rear wheels when I drive on the road. 2019 Ford F-150. What do you think it caused? Well, the first thing you want to do is pull the wheels off, look at the brakes. If the brakes have anything in them, a rock, a piece of dirt, or if they're wearing down to the metal, you hear tapping and knocking sounds, right? You want to pray that it is not your rear differential. When they go out, you will hear ticking and knocking sounds as it spins around. If you watch my video, Finding the Source of Car Noise of Scotty, you'll see we mechanics get headphones, get a machine that's got like 8 sensors, stick the sensors all over the place, then you wear the headphones while someone else is driving the vehicle, and you can switch through all 8 channels to pinpoint where the noise is coming from. Now, you can buy a machine like that on Amazon. I just bought a Chinese-made one for $80. It works phenomenally. I like the ones that are wired versus wireless. Wireless, you get too much interference. The wired ones, yeah, they have wires, but you just get some duct tape and tape it around the side of the doors and stuff for the time being while you're doing a road test, and then take it all off. That will pinpoint any noise. Well, they're shutting down an electric vehicle plant in Canada. The Cami assembly plant in Canada is being shut down because of a shortage of electric batteries. The Cami assembly plant in Canada has laid off all their workers because they don't have any batteries to build their electric vehicles. And as they say, and I quote, Cami assembly will be downtime in October and hopefully will reopen in spring of 2024. That plant assembles 2 of what they call bright drop electric utility vans. So they're cargo vans, they're electric. They can't build them because they can't get batteries for them. And here we go yet again. More problems with electric vehicles. And this occurred before any kind of strike on the union workers. They say they're going to eventually build their own batteries in a plant they're building next door, but that doesn't exist yet. So no coordination of building electric vehicles. Anybody wants to buy them or not, who knows? They can't even build the stupid things right. Haji says, what are your thoughts on the cryptocurrency scam? Yes, exactly that. Cryptocurrency. It's crypto, all right. It's really, nobody knows what it is. Okay, I understand it all. I was kind of like a math genius when I was a young kid. I understand the mathematical constructs that it's based upon with computers solving problems, blah, 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 right? But it's based on nothing. Right? So, if it all goes away, you invested and your money's gone, you invested your money into mathematical constructs that really don't exist, and so you have nothing, even though you put actual money into it. And it's only open for a bunch of fraudsters. I met guys that were big on cryptocurrency over a decade ago in Seattle. They knew who I was at these internet meetings. I said, I understand the mathematics of it, but I don't understand why people would get involved. And the guy openly said to me, as it stands now, most of it's for money laundering. They use it to launder money. They get it, being a cryptocurrency, go all over the world, and they launder money with it. So, and then as time went on, I mean, big guys that were rich would play the game, and then they'd say good things about it, and as the price went up, they were selling you theirs, and then they'd say something bad, the price would collapse. Once it collapsed, they'd buy it at the bottom, then they start saying good things. It's the most pyramid scheme thing. I don't know anybody can fall for this crap. It's such an obvious pyramid scheme. Now, I understand a lot of people made a lot of money on the top because they were on the top of the pyramid, but think of all the poor suckers in the middle and the bottom of the pyramid who lost all their money. It didn't work out too good for them, did it? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.